Sills, National Football Show. DeVonta Smith gets his Philadelphia sports card taken from him. He gets his Philadelphia sports card taken from him until Big Sills decides we give it back to him. But as of May 15th, you're no longer allowed to be a Philadelphia sports fan. Sorry, DeVonta. You can't be cheering on Jason Tatum and tweeting at him. That's how you respond, brother. That's how you go. Your Philadelphia sports card's revoked officially. Okay? You're no longer allowed to root for any Philadelphia sports teams other than the one you're on. You're out. Okay? Right. Ring the bell, and then he kisses Tatum's ass. Dude, what's up with that city with the owner and DeVonta Smith? These guys are Judases. You talk about Benedict Arnolds. Holy shit. Maybe I'm too old school. Hey, maybe that's how you youngsters, maybe that's how you guys roll, man. Loyal to the soil, though. Holy cow. I mean, where's your loyalty, man? That's how you respond. Then they let the dude ring the bell. This is the athlete version of Josh Harris. That's who DeVonta Smith is. Hey, Philly sports fan, I love you. Don't you own the Commanders too? Yeah, but I love you. I promise. I love it. Talk about cheating. Holy cow, man. Sorry, man. You get your man card yanked from you. He's tweeting at Jason Tatum. That's how you respond. He likes winners. Can you blame him? Dog. That's what Xander says. Xander, of all people, talk about a guy who loves people who are loyal. Holy cow. Man, see what's happening to Xander? He's becoming a big business guy now. Got his hair fixed differently. He's not like me or you any longer. You know, he hangs out like at the big clubs now, like at the Blue Martini, drinking martinis now. You and me are beer drinkers. Yeah. That's what happens when you make a lot of money, become like, real big and shit. You know, me and you are just blue collar guys. Xander's not like management now. I'm just like you guys, man. Man, this guy gets his car taken from him. Absolutely. Hey, by the way, you see what the highest price ticket is so far for week 1? DeVonta's a Celtics fan? Here. Isaiah, let's just say this. Say he is. Don't tell people in Philly, or don't let people in Philly see that. Dude, know the room. Okay? Know the room. No, like, seriously, would you, Isaiah, let me ask you this. If you lived in Philadelphia, would you wear a Dallas Cowboy jersey at Lincoln Financial? And you worked with your boys in downtown Philly? Would you wear a Cowboy jersey to the link? Would you? You might get your ass kicked. I mean, I don't know. Sills is a Bud Light drinker. Yeah. Hey, Twiz, 2 things Big Sills doesn't do. Eat a half a sandwich and anything light. No light cola, no light beer, no light. Do I look like a guy who eats half a sandwich? I mean, seriously. I'm not a half a sandwich. And when I get a piece of cake, it's a hunk, not a piece. Someone goes, Sills, you want a piece of cake? No, I want a hunk. Yeah, I want a hunk. Okay? Yeah, give me a hunk of that coconut cream pie there, man. I'm more of a hunk. Niners drink seltzer. Yeah. No, man. They drink wine. It's the only, MCAS, the 49ers stadium and the concession people that roll through the aisles, it's the only building in the NFL that they serve wine and cheese on a tray, and they got pâtés. I don't even know what a pâté is. Pâté? This is from Napa. What's Napa? It's a valley. Okay. What is that? Napa Valley. It's wine country. You serve wine at a football game? Of course we do. We got Merlots. We got Chardonnays. We got Mellow Blancs. We got Cake Bread Merlot. Which one would you want? Dude, I'm a beer drinker, dog, and a hot dog eater. Get out of my face before I put my fist in it. Wine, cheese, pate. Get out of my face. Could you see one of those guys coming down the aisle at Lincoln Financial? Xander. Merlot, cake bread, pate, caviar. I'd be sitting next to him going, you're not really going to order from that guy, are you? Dude, I'm bringing my own hot dogs. Dude, not happening, man. Big Sills wants a big-ass beer, a hot dog with everything on it. Except onions. I don't like onions. Gives me agita. Wine served at a football game. Not happening. Then again, hot dogs, though, I will say this, remember, hot dogs are rear ends and lips. So, Big Sills has to check out the kind of hot dog meat you got in the building before I'm going to eat any kind of hot dogs. Just to be, on the safe side there. All right. Let me get into this here too. Oh, by the way, real quick, I want to still $800. $800 is the average for the ticket for the Eagles playing against the Patriots week 1 at Gillette. Why? It's Brady night. So the NFL thought it was in the best interest to bring the NFC champion, defending champions, to Foxborough. Because why? Just, it's kind of like the Super Bowl, the Eagles won, you're playing the Patriots, Brady, Foles. I wonder if Nick Foles is going to be there. Oh my God. Xander. Everyone, we have to get Foles as the ceremonial co-captain of that game. And he goes out for the coin toss. You want to hose the Patriot fans over? Send St. Nick out. If he don't get a job, oh my God, I would hire him just for that moment. Hey, Nick, I don't know how long you're going to stay here, but we're going to sign you for week 1, and you're our captain. I want you to go out for the coin toss for that game. Holy cow. Patriot guy would hate Philadelphia even more. Boston, Philly, how could you not do that if you're the Eagles? Send Nick Foles' ass out there. He's out there for the coin toss. Heads. No, call the same thing you guys called in the Super Bowl. Go like this. When they flip the coin, Philly special. Oh, man. Oh, see, I like doing shit like that. I like getting under my opponent. Why? Belichick would do it. Belichick loves getting under people's skin. Why wouldn't you do that? Here comes Nick Foles trotting out. St. Nick. And the guy goes like, hey, and Foles goes like this when they flip the coin. I don't give a shit what it lands on. That's what he says. He goes, I don't give a shit what it lands on. You can have the ball. We don't care. Yeah, then you walk back. And don't shake their hand because Brady don't shake your hand. So why would you shake their hand? Right? Philly special, baby. You should get shirts made that week for that. I would. I'd be walking around with Philly special. It's Brady night. Should be Philly special night. $800 to have Tom Brady come back and have the Patriots honor him. I'm going to be looking forward to that. I really am. All right. So, before we get to this other topic here, the other one's a fun topic. By the way, bottom of the hour, our friend Gary Cobb. You think there's a market for Carson Wentz? Here's the problem I have with Carson Wentz right now. What's the most embarrassing thing so far of this offseason for Carson Wentz? Do you guys know what it is? First off, is there a market? But you know what's embarrassing for Carson Wentz? Yale says it's a backup. Carl goes, no. Dude, Nate Peterman has a job. Okay? Josh Johnson has a job. I mean, the 49ers could have used him in that NFC title game. Don't tell me there's not a market for him, because there is. Is there a market for him? Here's the problem that he has. See, you guys, none of you guys brought it up. Frank Reich passed on him for Andy Dalton. Think about that. Frank Reich passed on him. And Frank had a good year with him in Indy. 3,700 yards, 67 completion percentage. They went 9-8. I get they didn't play well against the Raiders and the Jags. Jags turned out to be a pretty good football team. Okay? They were just coached by a shithead, an urban liar. They were a good team. They just didn't know it because they had a amateur coach coaching them. They were good. They just didn't know it. Okay? So that puts a whole different light on that. Jags are good. I'm hearing Green Bay or Tampa Bay for Wentz. I wouldn't have a problem with both places. I don't know what Jordan Love's going to be. And Baker Mayfield? Really? If you're those two places, I think those make the most sense for you. But you got Kyle Trask down in Tampa, so you got some draft equity there. Green Bay, I don't know. Jordan Love, Trey Lance, maybe Matt LaFleur turns his career around. Or if you do this and you turn around and you do something like this and you go down the line here and you say something like this, you go, why doesn't he go to Kansas City and have Andy Reid work with him? Why not that? That would be something. So is there a market for him? Let me get this here for Rick Barry. Okay, there we go. Would there be a market? Frank apologized after Indy, so Frank wouldn't bring him into another organization. I think Green Bay would be a great opportunity for him. But he has to go in as a backup. He has to go in as a backup. Okay, so to me, that's the best situation for him, is to go in and build up some equity again so that he can get out there on the free agent market. And God knows, maybe he gets an opportunity again. But for me right now, Carson Wentz has to go into a situation not thinking he's the starter. I think the number one issue that he has right now is teammates don't believe him. Do you go to San Francisco? I mean, Kyle Shanahan is in love right now with the USC quarterback, Sam Darnold. That's his turf up there, too. That's why I thought Green Bay would be a situation for him. Okay? That's why I thought it'd be a great situation for him. By the way, all 32 teams, I'm going to do that here in a couple minutes here. My impressions of where they are roster-wise. You know, I'll tell you what, there's some people out there that don't really think the Eagles are going to have a banner year like they did a year ago. I'm not one of those guys. May 13th I did. Now I'm a little bit different here. So we're going to get to that here in a second. I want to go over to this other topic. And for the record, just to close that topic up, I do think there's a market. There'll always be a market for Carson Wentz. The issue will be the money, because then he's going to have to understand, bro, you're not going to make $38 million ever again in your career. But if two things have shown us that guys can resurrect careers, how many people thought Ryan Tannehill would ever resurrect their career in Tennessee? or Geno Smith would resurrect their career in Seattle. He hasn't had the best coaching. Outside of Philadelphia, where's he got good coaching? And when he got it in Indy, he performed. To me, if I'm Carson Wentz, I got to go to a place that has great coaching. And people that understand, that's why Andy Reid makes sense being a backup to Mahomes. You get an opportunity to learn from a guy and maybe understand some of the things that you did wrong. But look at the places he's been. Washington, really? You think you're really getting great coaching and great direction from an organization that was run by Daniel Snyder when he was there? Do you really think that? Jim Irsay, by the way, he played great there. He played great in Indianapolis. He didn't have a bad year. 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. Wasn't like he failed. Go to Dallas? Why would he go to Dallas? You're not going to get great coaching in Dallas. That's not going to work. Dude, to me, I'd go to Los Angeles where the Rams are with Sean McVay. Look what he did with Jared Goff. You need to go to a place where a guy understands the quarterback position and will give you great coaching. He needs great coaching. Carson Wentz needs to go to it's not about winning now. It's about being in a great position to win for yourself and to be coached correctly. He hasn't been coached since he left Philly. Well, Indianapolis. And Doug and Howie at the end, there was more of a bitching match going on between those two guys than there was anything else. By the way, I'm not suggesting to you that Carson Wentz is ever going to look like 2017 again. But I'm saying he could be functional again. Geno Smith was. And Geno Smith has never had the career that Wentz has had. If you look at Carson Wentz's numbers, they're pretty good. Geno Smith's not a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. He had a better year. Nobody on the planet would go, Geno Smith is a great quarterback. He had a good year. 1-12 doesn't mean you're a better quarterback. You had a better season. That's it. Like someone goes, Sills, who would you take, Geno Smith or Carson Wentz? Who's my coach? Would be the number one issue. Who's my coach? Sean McVay. Probably Wentz. Wentz is better. He's had more quality years. And he's younger. He needs a coach. Okay? You seem to be under the impression the only problem with Wentz is his play. No, the problem that he has is he needs to be coached. Whereas Jalen Hurts doesn't. Jalen Hurts is his own coach in a way. Jalen understands it. He's more mature. So he has to be directed more. Terry Bradshaw had to be directed more by Chuck Noll than, say, John Gilliam or anyone else that quarterback there, because Bradshaw wasn't very mature either. You seem to be under the impression that Carson Wentz didn't put up an MVP season in Philly too. He did. Vet goes, Wentz head case. You know what's funny about what Vet just said, head case? Isn't it funny? He holds every single seasonal passing record in your franchise's history. Pretty crazy. Most passes, most yards, only quarterback with 4,000 yards, 30 some odd touchdown passes, second in MVP voting. I'll be shocked if Jalen Hurts ever breaks any of those records. No one else has in your franchise history. Okay? No one else has. I think he threw for 4,000 twice. Right? And he was part of a Super Bowl win. That was like 8 years ago. Okay? Like I said, I was comparing him to Geno Smith, who's older. I wasn't comparing him really to anyone else. I was talking about him and Geno. He needs coaching. He needs to have better coaching. You don't think there's any coincidence that Nick Foles sucked out loud everywhere he went? Think about where he went. What was it? Jeff Fisher had him, didn't he? Who else had him? Doug Marrone in Jacksonville? Chicago? Chicago hasn't got the quarterback position right in 70 years. Where's Foles got good coaching? Philly. Doug had him. Right? You got great coaching. Coaching matters in the NFL. Coaching so much doesn't matter. Jim McMahon, sure, okay. Never played. You know, Jim McMahon never played a full season in 17 years in the NFL, ever. Never played 16 games. Never played a 16-year season in his entire 17 years. He was never durable. He was a good quarterback, but he was never durable. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, since Sid Luckman, 70 years, best quarterback Chicago's ever had, Jay Cutler, McMahon, Rex Grossman. Who Chicago had in 70 years? Bobby Douglas? I mean, give me Mitchell Trubisky. Actually, Mitchell Trubisky's 21-11. JoJo goes, Wentz has no durability. Well, your guy's been hurt 2 years in a row, too. He's missed ball games. I mean, Jalen hasn't played a full season yet either. And I don't believe he will this year. And that's not going to continue to improve. By the way, Gary Cobb, Fox 29, is going to join us here in a couple minutes. Going to get his thoughts on how that schedule is played out for the Eagles. And I do want to talk to him about Embiid a little bit, because that was a nuclear Chernobyl meltdown yesterday. Had to be one of the most embarrassing moments in Philadelphia sports history watching that thing, especially with an MVP on the team. Embiid got the award. You know what he did? He packed the season in. Seriously, man, that guy had a seesaw. Tobias Harris, you pay that guy $40 million a year? Holy shit. I mean, the decision-making in that organization, they need to go over to the NovaCare Center, and they need to look how they do business, okay, and how Howie and Jeffrey Lurie run their team and organizationally, and they need to duplicate that, because that thing is a train wreck. I mean, watching that yesterday, if you were on that bench, you should have gotten into a fist fight. Dude, you may beat us on the boards and you may beat us on the scoreboard, but I'm not leaving here getting my pride beat up. That ain't happening. I'd have gone Rick Mahorn on your ass. You would have thought we were playing back in the day, the Pistons. I'd have turned that thing into bad boy basketball. Man, I'm not letting you run me over like that. I'm a poor loser. Just so you know, I'm not a very good loser. Shaking hands and shit after games and all that sportsman stuff, not for me. I don't believe in you kicking my ass for 60 minutes of football and me shaking your hand. That's not my – I'm not cut that way. I'm not – and nor was Jerome Brown cut that way. We were not cut that way. That's not how we worked. Shaking hands and hugging. You see him hugging guys too after? I was like, man, that's even more embarrassing. Damn. There was no pride. I mean, dude, when you walked off that court, you should have been walking off with your head down. I mean it. And then you get out there and you start answering questions, throwing dudes under the bus like that. Oh, me and James can't win it by ourselves. What a terrible comment. And one I'll remember, because then I'll start pointing out every time you lay an egg like that in big moments like Kirk Cousins. Dude, let me ask you something here. Before we get Gary Cobb on, let me ask you this. Before we get G Cobb on, okay, Gary, get there. Let me ask you this here. Who are you more embarrassed with? The way Wentz ended his career and how he kind of started losing ball games, or what you saw yesterday? You more embarrassed with Wentz or with Embiid? Who are you more embarrassed for? Man, that was so terrible as an athlete. Watching Embiid, dude, Wentz got a Super Bowl ring. He's got a Super Bowl ring. Let me say this to you, man. My boy Gary Cobb has been talking sports in Philadelphia for a long time. And what we saw yesterday, before we get into the NFL, let me say this, man. Everyone shits all over Carson Wentz and how people look at Carson Wentz out the door. 15 points by your MVP, Joel Embiid. Tobias Harris, I see him in the first half. You pay that guy $40 million. And then you have Embiid come out and go like this. James and I can't win the series alone. Man, you throw the rest of your team and your coach under a bus.